I believe what America needs today is a generation of young people who will say, I'm not going to let my nation go to hell. I'm not going to sit back and watch kids die on drugs. That if we could see in the unseen world, we would understand that there are principalities and powers, spiritual terrorists, that are taking control of millions of people's lives, leading them to destruction, leading them to death, leading them to hell. What we need is somebody to stand up and say, I'm not going to let my high school go down without a fight. I'm not going to let my friends go to hell without a fight. I'm not just going to sit back and watch young people all around me die without God. Come on, Jesus, let's roll. Let's take this world for Jesus. One day Jesus turned to Simon Peter and he said, Simon, do you love me? And the word that Jesus used in the Greek language was agape, which means self-sacrificial love, which means I'm willing to give up my life for you. I love you so much. Do you agape me? Do you love me enough to die for me? And Simon Peter's answer was a classic. He looked back at Jesus and he said, you know I love you. But he didn't use the same word in the Greek language. He used phileo, which is the word from which we get friendship. In other words, he was saying, Lord, yeah, I love you. I love you. As long as it doesn't cost me anything. We're friends. I tell everybody I'm a born-again Christian. I'm a friend. We're friends. Just don't ask anything of me. Just don't ask me to give up anything for you. Just don't ask me to really sacrifice for you. Let's just be friends and kind of give me my distance, because I need to do my thing. And when I need you, you'll be there for me. Jesus looked at him and he said a second time, Simon Peter, do you love me? Agape. Do you love me enough to die for me, to sacrifice everything for me? Simon Peter looked back at him and he said, you know I eros. It's a different word in the Greek language. It means, it's a word from which we get erotic love. In other words, I get excited about you. Yeah, I go to Winterfest and I get fired up for a few weeks, and then I go right back to my old pattern. Go right back to my old friends. Go right back and listen to the same music that messed my mind up and has all those memories attached to partying, and so it pulls. I go right back. I love you. I get excited about you. I cry sometimes, but don't ask me to change my life. Don't ask me to give up things that I love, that I know are contrary to your will. Jesus looked at him a third time and he said, Simon Peter, do you love me? Agape love. Are you willing to sacrifice your life for me? You know what Jesus was saying when he kept asking him over and over? He was saying, I hear people tell me they love me all the time. I hear people tell me they're a Christian all the time. I get mouth from people all the time. But I'm looking for somebody who'll back it up. I'm looking for somebody who'll sacrifice. I'm looking for somebody. You know what Jesus was saying? Jesus was saying, do you love your music or do you love my music? Do you love my people or do you love your wild friends? Do you love what you want to do or do you love what my will is for you? The Bible said that something in the voice of Jesus so touched Simon Peter's heart that he broke. He began to weep and he said, Lord, I'm tired of lukewarmness. I'm tired of playing God games. I'm tired of living wild all week and as though you don't exist, and showing up on Sunday and singing the songs and playing the hypocrite. I see how indifferent and lukewarm my heart is. Forgive me. And he says the third time, because I agape you, I love you with a self-sacrificing love. Tell me what I have to do, he was saying, to prove to you that I love you. And I'll do anything, I'll give up anything, I'll do anything you tell me to do. Jesus looked at him and he began prophesying. He said, all right. Jesus said, when you're young, you'll be free. You can walk around and do what you want. But I warn you, when you become an old man, they're going to bind you just like they bound me. They're going to nail you to the cross, and you're going to die just like I died, giving up your life in self-sacrifice so that others might be saved. Do you really love me? And he said, I'm willing. I'll do whatever it takes. I want my life to be in your will. And Jesus said, follow me or let's roll. He said, when you're young, the Lord said, talk to those young people about the power of being young. See, so many kids say, I'm going to serve the Lord. I'm going to really get excited. I'm going to really be used by God, but not right now. I'm young. I want to sow my wild oats. I want to party. I want to drink Budweiser. I want to smoke dope. I want to listen to what I want to listen to, and I want to sleep around with some people. But listen to me. God said when you're young, there's a power on your life that if you'll honor God when you're young, he'll use you mightily. If you'll keep your virginity, if you'll be different, if you'll stand up when everybody else is going along, there's an anointing that'll come on your life. When you're young, in this final generation, that God is looking for some young people who do more than come and scream and get excited, but they'll die in an altar. They'll have a lamb's field road down here in this altar, and they'll say, Jesus, not my will, but thy will. I'll give up anything for you. Many years have gone by. He's won thousands to Christ, but he's not young anymore. He's an old man. The Roman soldiers come and they take him. They stretch him out on a cross. They say, all you've got to do is deny Jesus. All you got to do is drink that beer. All you got to do is just party. All you got to do is give up your virginity. All you got to do is let a guy feel you off. Come on, don't take it so serious, Simon Peter. You can have a friendly love for God and live a different life during the week. You can get excited about God periodically, but you don't have to live it all the time. Come on, don't be a fanatic. Just compromise. Some of you think you're just going to waltz into heaven. Some of you think you're just going to live loose and lukewarm and flip back and forth from the enemy's camp to God's camp, and you'll be all right. But if it costs him his life, it's going to cost you your life. The Bible said that they crucified him, but he had one request. Fox's Book of Martyrs said that he requested. He said, I'm not worthy to die like my Savior. Crucify me upside down. And that's how he died. On a cross, crucified upside down. Because when he was young, he heard the voice that you're hearing that said, I don't want you to sit back as spiritual terrorists are taking over your high school and taking over your youth group and watching good friends that you know are now veering from what is right, and they're doing things that are questionable and wrong, and you're just sitting back and saying nothing. I want you to take a stand. When Jesus asked him, do you love me? And he told him, do you know what the Bible actually says? The Bible actually says that when he told him, it's going to cost you, you're going to die like me, that he turned, and John was standing over there, and he tried to change the subject, Peter did, and said, what about John? That's what we do when the Lord puts his finger on our life. And he says, I want to deal with you. You say, what about them? They're doing it and they're okay. But God's not. Sometimes you have to stand alone. Sometimes you have to be the only one who's not partying. Sometimes you have to be the only one who's not sleeping around. Sometimes you have to be the only one with your hands raised in the youth group while everybody who thinks they're cool sits back laughing at you. Sometimes you have to be the only one to walk down the hall of your school and say, I'm going to live right today. According to Josephus, the writer who is alive in Bible days, and other historical writings, they took him and they walked him up a ramp. I want you to walk up it with him. Up scaffolding he climbs, and below is a cauldron. It's a pot, a 6-foot pot of boiling oil. It's 6 feet deep. One of the Roman soldiers takes him to the edge of that boiling oil, slaps him in the face, says, John, just deny Jesus. Just be like us. That same spirit is alive today. Come on, young lady. Just lose your virginity. Just let us turn you into a whore. Come on. Just party with us. Come on, just smoke a joint. Come on, just compromise. I can't do it. Don't you know how much you're going to hurt? Don't you know how painful it's going to be to boil in oil? He promised me I wouldn't die until I see it. I don't see Jesus anywhere. Where is he? I'm taking a stand and he's not here. Where is he? Everybody else is partying, but I'm not partying. Everybody else is sleeping around. I'm not sleeping around. Where's Jesus? He said he would be here, and it feels like I'm all alone. But I made him a promise, and I'm going to stand. I want you to see it. They took John. They threw him into that pot of boiling oil. Josephus gives a descriptive writing of what he saw, and he said he looked like he could not understand how to describe third-degree burns. All of the hair came off, all of the facial hair, all of the hair on his head, all the hair on his body immediately came off the moment his body hit that oil. Third-degree burns, tortured. Where's Jesus? They laugh at him. They put somebody in compassion puts a towel around him, a coat around him. And they took the man who wouldn't die and they put him on the Isle of Patmos. He's sitting out there on the Isle of Patmos all by himself, never to see his family again, never to see his children again, never to see his wife again. He's laying out there on an island and he's praying. And all of a sudden he hears a voice behind him. And he said, I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day. And I heard a voice behind me saying, I am the Alpha and I am the Omega. I am the beginning and I am the end. I am he that was dead and I am alive. John! Yes, Lord. Let's roll. Let's write the book of Revelation. Let's tell the world what's going to happen in the last days. I'm telling you, this is no time to ride the fence. This is no time. This is no time to be sort of committed. This is the hour, as they bring the lights up, this is the hour when Jesus is saying, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? And say, Lord, I'm so ashamed of myself because I've talked the talk, but I've not loved you. I want to give myself. I want to self-sacrifice my life. Jesus is asking you, will you die for me tonight?